The global momentum around addressing plastic waste is greater than ever. And consumers are expecting companies to step up and take action to reduce the environmental impact of the packaging they're putting into the environment. But knowing where to start can be difficult. What if there was an easily accessible way to prioritize actions while developing or improving your company's plastic packaging strategy? SYSTEMIQ is a groundbreaking free digital resource backed by data and research, co-developed by the Recycling Partnership and SYSTEMIQ with support from Walmart. This tool enables your company to develop an effective strategy, discover innovative solutions, and compare your ambition to industry best practices, positively affecting the environment, whether it's redesigning packaging or working to reduce plastic waste. SYSTEMIQ empowers you to implement bold changes to reduce your plastic and carbon impact. Get to know your Plastic IQ and become part of a stronger circular economy for plastic packaging in the U.S. Learn more and find out your score at plastikiq.org.
Hi, everyone, and welcome. I'm Keefe Harrison, CEO of the Recycling Partnership, and we're delighted to have you join us today for the unveiling of our new groundbreaking tool, SYSTEMIQ. From reuse to redesign to recycling, SYSTEMIQ provides your company's decision makers with the data and the research that you need to deploy solution-focused actions to maximize the impact of your packaging and reduce plastic waste. The Recycling Partnership is a U.S. nonprofit, and we're out to transform the U.S. recycling system and activate a circular economy for packaging. That means we're on the front lines of the huge plastic waste challenge that we're all facing. This is personal for me. I started off researching sea turtles in Costa Rica and in North Carolina when the problem of plastic waste was very concerning, but not as concerning of that as habitat loss. Now, the story is very different, and my personal commitment to providing real solutions has grown with it. That's why I helped found the Recycling Partnership. As a mission-driven nonprofit, we believe that everyone should have access to the latest data and research to help make the best decisions possible. We want to help you reduce your plastic waste and your carbon footprint. That's why we're so excited to partner with SYSTEMIQ with support from Walmart to launch SYSTEMIQ. It's open access, no cost, and it's data-driven. It's for companies large and small. At the partnership, we say that we insist and assist. We insist on real solutions and we help. We assist all of our partners in making those solutions a reality. Every day we see companies grappling with how to do the right things for their company and the planet. You know that individual companies can't solve this plastics challenge alone. You need to be in collaboration with others. You need common goals, common approaches, common measurements to get real impact. You also know that you need coordination across your teams, from R&D to marketing, from your supply chain to your leadership. You need a common understanding of trade-offs and opportunities, and you need us to be connected too. SYSTEMIQ serves a missing piece, building the right portfolio of action and products. And we've worked hard to coordinate it with US Plastics Pact around goal setting, with Pathway to Circularity on problem solving, with APR design guides for design for recycling, and with WWF's Resource Plastic Tracker for measurement. SYSTEMIQ provides your company's decision makers with real-time trade-off tools so you can reduce plastic waste. And thanks to Walmart, it's free for any company to use. Retailers, brands, packaging converters. There's a lot of great work underway, but we know that it's not enough. And together we all need to play a collaborative part. And with SYSTEMIQ, we're confident that we've got the missing tool to build the action we all need. To share more, I'd like to hand it over to my partner, Ben Dixon from SYSTEMIQ. Ben?
Thank you, Keefe. It's been such a privilege to work with the Recycling Partnership on developing SYSTEMIQ. As Keefe has told us, there is growing momentum and expectations for companies to embrace the move from a disposable single-use plastic system to a circular plastics economy so that we can reduce the ever-growing volumes of plastic waste in landfills and in the environment. But decision makers in companies in the consumer goods, in retail, in packaging industry, they want to better understand the economic and environmental implications of the different choices they can make. And that's where Plastic IQ comes in. So our ambition at the start of this project was to help anyone, from small local suppliers all the way through to nationwide retailers, to help them to determine the best approach to minimize their plastic waste footprint. So specifically, Plastic IQ is a tool that calculates the impact of a company's plastic packaging today and helps you to build a strategy to improve your performance and set targets over the next 5 to 10 years. It allows you to test real time what the different solutions cost and how will they impact on plastic waste and greenhouse gas emissions so that you can optimize your strategy. It allows you to future-proof your strategy against changes in policy or changes in infrastructure, and brings those science-based data points to your fingertips so you can do scenario analysis, understand trade-offs in your choices, and benchmark your ambitions against others in the industry. Best of all, thanks to the support of Walmart, this tool is free to access, and it's available now. So don't hesitate, log into our site and try out Plastic IQ. Find out what's your Plastic IQ and how can you make it even better. But before you do, we do have a panel discussion coming up. So I'd like to hand over now to our moderator, who's Erin Hiatt from the Retail Industry Leaders Association, and also take the chance to once again thanks Keefe Harrison for being such a great partner on developing this project, and thanks for your time today. Erin, over to you.
Thank you, Ben and Keefe, for the overview of the packaging challenges we face and a bit of a teaser on Plastic IQ before we dive in. Hello, everyone. My name is Erin Hiatt. I am the Vice President of Corporate Social Responsibility with the Retail Industry Leaders Association, and I am delighted to serve as the moderator for today's panel. So let's get to it. You've all just met Ben Dixon, who's partner at SYSTEMIQ. Ben will stay with us and will now be joined by 2 other panelists. So welcome to Jane Ewing, who is Senior Vice President of Sustainability with Walmart. Jane leads Walmart's sustainability team and efforts, which prioritize people and the planet by aiming to source responsibly, eliminate waste and emissions, sell sustainable products, and protect and restore nature. Our other panelist is Sarah Dearman, Vice President of Circular Ventures with the Recycling Partnership. Sarah specializes in building action-oriented collaborations to accelerate the circular economy, which has included launching the Circular Economy Accelerator, US Plastics Pact, Pathway to Circularity, and more. So we know companies around the world are committing to transformative action and measurable goals around the circular economy and the plastics waste crisis. But is that enough to get us where we need to be? Today's panel will discuss how we can tackle these issues and tell us more about Plastic IQ, a free new digital tool to help US companies reach their circularity goals. So let's start with hearing a bit more from Ben at SYSTEMIQ. So Ben, what challenges do US companies face when it comes to plastic waste, and what are the opportunities?
Thanks, Erin. I think you said it. Companies today face a growing momentum and a growing expectation to embrace the move towards a circular economy for packaging. Last year, the study that we carried out with the Pew Charitable Trusts highlighted that on the current trajectory, the annual flows of plastic into the ocean could nearly triple to 30 million tons a year by 2040. But the good news that we see is that companies globally and companies in the US are making bold commitments to improve the sustainability of their packaging and rethink their packaging systems. But we know that's not an easy task, because companies doing that have to address cost pressures, they have to manage environmental impacts such as the carbon footprint of their packaging decisions, the technical feasibility, the economic feasibility, and the changing regulatory requirements. And that's why we're here today. That's why we're so excited to launch Plastic IQ.
Wonderful, thank you, Ben. And Sarah, welcome. I'd like to turn to you next. While plastic waste will clearly continue to be a challenge where we need ongoing innovation, collaboration, what solutions are available now?
Thanks, Erin. there are definitely a lot of solutions and options out there, but there is nothing like Plastic IQ. I think you know, before I followed my passion to the recycling partnership, I worked in corporate sustainability, and I experienced firsthand the challenge of building a glide path to achieve targets. I spent way too much time on Excel trying to figure out what actions we needed to do so that we could achieve them. So having a tool like Plastic IQ at my fingertips where I could find new solutions that maybe I hadn't thought of, measure the impact of those solutions, and then also see how they're progressing toward the targets is really exciting. And all of that information would be really helpful to take to leadership to try to get awareness and get more support. Plus, Plastic IQ also shows you how your action plan scores against industry best practices, and who doesn't like to check in on that and see how they're doing? So overcoming all of these challenges, providing this kind of great resource, that's what really inspired me as we worked with SYSTEMIQ to build Plastic IQ.
That's great. I know our members find that benchmarking capability so valuable in a lot of different areas, so it's really exciting to hear. And Jane, I want to turn to you next. I know Walmart played a key role here. I'd love to hear from you. How did the idea for this tool come about, and why is it so important?
Yeah, thanks, Erin, and thanks for the opportunity to be here today. Walmart is committed to achieving zero waste in our operations in the US and Canada by 2025. And we've made some really great progress on this journey, but we know it's not something that we can accomplish on our own. So many of our peers, our NGO partners, suppliers, and most importantly, our customers understand the need to reduce plastic waste urgently. But we need more effective collaborative actions to be able to bring around this transformative change. So we really wanted to support a path to help companies, including ourselves and all our suppliers, make informed decisions, set impactful targets, and then prioritize the actions so that ultimately we can eliminate plastic waste and so that we can really make progress on this journey together. So SYSTEMIQ and the Recycling Partnership are leading industry experts. They're well known for data-driven collaborations, and we felt they were really well suited to do this work.
Excellent. That has to feel good to hear, Sarah. So when the collaboration became a reality, how did the Recycling Partnership team react?
Well, I think Jane said one of the key words there. She said collaborative action, and that happens to be the specialty of the Recycling Partnership. Many of you probably know we're a mission-driven nonprofit organization. We're working to advance the circular economy, as Keefe shared earlier. So we're always looking for developing how we can develop innovative solutions so we can make more progress faster. Some of the things we focus on when we do this is empowering companies with information, making sure that we're engaging more companies and organizations to come to the table, and doing it in an inspirational and transparent way. So as we look at Plastic IQ, it really aligns with all of these key aspects of our strategy as well as collaboration. And we knew, of course, working with SYSTEMIQ that this was going to be a really successful and powerful tool. And I'm really proud to say that it is. And I hope all of you get an opportunity to see it, and you'll see that firsthand. One of the things that's so exciting to me about it, though, is that we're able to make it available for free to everyone to use, thanks for this grant from Walmart. That's really unusual and will help move our mission forward, unlike a lot of other activities. It'll just do even more faster.
Amazing. So I will repeat that again for everyone. Plastic IQ is free. So Jane, why was it so important that this be a free tool?
Well, as Sarah said, we absolutely need everyone to work together towards effective solutions. Just us doing it on our own is not going to get us to where we need to. So we were pretty clear from the outset, we didn't want access to information or cost to be a barrier. And that's why we're so supportive of tools like Plastic IQ, really that create equitable access for everyone. So the idea is that this will enable as many companies as possible, regardless of their size and their resources, to get behind this and then deploy impactful actions so we can together change the trajectory of the plastic waste crisis. So we just felt it was so important that everybody had access.
That's fantastic. So Ben, I'd like to come back to you. Without getting too technical, how does the tool actually work, and when will it be available?
Thanks, Erin. Well, I'll answer the second question first, because the tool's available starting today at plasticiq.org. Write it down. So we're very excited. This is the launch. So the tool is available today. And I think one of the things we should say, we've already heard that the tool is free to use. I think the other thing to say is many of the elements in the tool can be accessed without any formal registration. So what we want companies to do is to take advantage of that opportunity to experiment, to acquaint yourselves with what this tool does. And I think another piece of important good news is that we've designed this tool not to require deep technical knowledge, because it provides this simple step-by-step process for companies or brands or product categories to log their current packaging usage and to test out the changes that they could make to this portfolio and understand the economic and the environmental implications of different scenarios. It's the kind of tool that large companies have access to, but what we've been able to do with this tool is to bring that capability to the fingertips of every company, and we're very excited about that.
Excellent. That's very helpful. So I mentioned my role at the Retail Industry Leaders Association. I work with committees of our retail leads in sustainability and zero waste. So I have to ask, Ben, how will this specifically benefit retailers as well as the overall circular system for packaging?
Yeah, great question, Erin. Don't take me, I'm not biased here, but I do think retailers play such a critical role in this transition that we're seeing to a circular economy for packaging. And so we're excited to say that this is a tool that we think retailers can find extremely powerful. So it allows retailers and manufacturers of packaged goods to know their plastic IQ and to understand if the plastic strategies of the next 5 to 10 years that you have plotted out, understand if those are on track to help drive the circular economy forward and help reduce plastic waste. So it also allows you to look at different brands in your portfolio, understand which of those brands are performing well, which of those are on track, and which ones should you focus on for changes. And another thing that we think is really important is it allows you to test these scenarios against changes in the external environment, policy changes, changes in infrastructure. So we think this is a great tool for retailers. We also come back to this point again of saying this is a tool that's designed for companies of all shapes and sizes. And so as a retailer, if you have smaller companies as suppliers, then this is a great tool to be able to introduce them and give them the capabilities to bring these science-based decision-making tools to life.
Excellent. Jane, I'd like to come back to you. I know that when we share information about the tool with the RILA membership, for example, they will be very curious to know, how has Walmart had the opportunity to sort of road test this tool?
Yeah, of course. So as a member of the advisory council, along with several other companies, we did get a chance for a few of our team members to test out the tool, and we were able to provide feedback which helped guide some of the development of the Plastic IQ tool. So it's pretty exciting to get to try it firsthand. What it did is it analyzed our data, helped calculate the circularity of our plastic packaging. So, all the way from production, consumption, and then importantly, all the way through to end of life. And, helped us better understand what trade-offs as we make decisions on packaging types and different delivery models, and then the implications of those choices. So it took our sustainability team through a series of pretty simple steps to identify ways to use less plastic, select better packaging, and overall to contribute to a better system. It showed us how outside forces, things like policy change, could impact efforts to reduce plastic waste. So all in all, it was just a small test, but we feel it's a very promising tool. We think all members of our supply chain and beyond could really benefit from using it as they seek to understand their plastic waste usage in a much more depth. So it will help them look at that, their greenhouse gas contributions, importantly for all companies, cost-saving opportunities, and so much more. So it really is our hope that Plastic IQ will enable all companies to deploy effective plastic packaging strategies so that we can tackle this plastic waste crisis together. And I really want to thank Ben and Sarah and their teams for the partnership on this journey.
Excellent. So I wanted to pick up on something that Jane and Ben both referenced, which is external factors like policy change. And Sarah, I was curious to ask you, do you think policy has a role to play to tackle the waste crisis when it comes to plastics?
Yes. Can I just stop there? I think yes, an exclamation mark. And I think, as you know, Erin, that was one of the first initiatives I worked on for the partnership, is to get our policy arm going. And, you know, I have to say, as we look across the landscape, there are a lot of companies who have already stepped up to be part of the solution. And that's fantastic. We really commend them. And we need everyone to be at the table to really make the progress that we need. And we all know that policy is an effective way to do that and can make an impact like nothing else, because we still have a lot of work to do to advance and truly reach a circular economy. So that's one of the reasons that we do believe in policy. We know that as many companies as are leaning in, it's not something that they can do alone. They need help from the entities that help protect the public good. So at the partnership, we believe in a shared responsibility model that we want all stakeholders to come to the table so that we can have sustainable funding for our system, because without that, it's really going to be challenging to make the major progress that we need. You know, it's really exciting to see the increasing dialogue that's happening at the state level as well as the federal level. It's something that we're watching and engaging in really closely. But, you know, a lot of companies are left asking the question, how is that going to affect me? And it can be really hard and challenging to figure it out. So that's one of the reasons that we built that into Plastic IQ, that companies can model at a high level, a very high level, how policy change scenarios could impact them and impact the overall system from an environmental perspective as well as a business perspective. So Plastic IQ is a valuable tool just to start to do that. I personally think that's probably going to be one of the highly sought after aspects of Plastic IQ.
I would have to agree. That's certainly a topic so many of our members are tracking closely, and I think we'll be excited that that's an element they can incorporate into the analysis. Well, it is hard to believe that we are nearly at time, but what a fantastic discussion today. And Sarah, I did want to come back to you. So before we close out, what comes next? How can our audience access this tool?
Well, as Ben shared earlier, the great news is the wait is over. Those of you who have known this is coming and have been calling us asking if you can get access, the answer is now yes. Starting today, you can go to plasticiq.org. So hopefully you're starting to pull it up right now. And there you can access the tool. You can immediately go into it and start using it and putting your data and getting the results. You're going to get a better idea of what are some solutions that you can deploy to improve your plastic as well as your carbon footprint. You're going to see things all the way from reuse to recycled content and redesign your packaging so that you can have the biggest positive impact. You're also going to be able to test scenarios that we talked about. And, you know, ultimately at the end, we do want companies to take action. So that's why we've built in an option for companies to see, based on the strategy that they built, what kind of targets should they be aiming for. And this is going to be really useful for those companies that already have ambitious sustainability and packaging targets, as well as those who don't have any. This will really help you measure the progress toward your existing targets or create new ones. So I think that there's value for everyone. I was talking to a company on our advisory council earlier this week, and they said it's a no-brainer. There's no cost to you. It is easy to use. So we clearly recommend everyone to do it, because ultimately, we at the partnership, I think everyone here, we just want to make more progress together so that we can reduce plastic waste.
Excellent. Sarah, thank you so much. And thank you very much as well to Ben and Jane for all of your insights today. So remember, everyone, the takeaway was to visit plasticiq.org for more information about how you can get open access to this free cutting edge digital tool. Thank you all again and have a wonderful afternoon.